To do Tunisian style crochet, you use an Afghan hook. It's a longer hook than your regular crochet hooks, but the hook is the same. For my samples, I'm going to be using a 6mm hook. You can get them in different sizes, just like other crochet hooks. And we are ready to begin. To begin the basic Tunisian crochet, you're going to start with a slip knot, and then you'll start with a foundation chain. For my sample piece, I'm going to do 20 chains, and for this you can do any number of chains. So I'm going to choose 20. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Once you have the number of chains that you want, remember you do not count the loop that's on your hook. So I have 20 chains, and now I'm going to add one more. So get your number of chains and then add one more, and you will be ready to begin round 1 or row 1. To begin your first row, you're going to skip this first chain, and I am going to work in these back bumps on the back of the chain for my beginning. So I'm going to skip the first one, insert my hook, grab the yarn, and bring up a loop. And as you do this, you're going to keep all your loops on the hook, which is why the hooks are so long for this. So you just move to the next one, insert your hook, grab your yarn, and bring up a loop. Move to the next one, insert your hook, grab the yarn, and bring up your loop. And you'll continue to do this. Oops. Yep, just insert your hook, grab your yarn, and bring up the loop. And you'll continue to do this all the way until you get to the end of your chain. Here I am at the end of my chain, and you can see I've kept all of the loops on the hook while I was doing this. And now you are ready to begin your next row. For row 2, so row 1 was when you were putting the loops on. So for row 2, now we're going to go back through the other way. There's no turning involved with this style. So to begin row 2, you're going to grab your yarn and draw up a loop, pulling it through just that first loop that was on your hook, and that's to get you started. And then from this point on, you're going to pull through 2 loops. So you'll grab your yarn and pull through 2 loops, and then you'll just keep doing that all the way across. So grab your yarn and pull through 2 loops, grab your yarn, pull through 2, grab your yarn, pull through 2. And you'll just keep doing this all the way to the end. So grab your yarn, pull through 2, grab your yarn, pull through 2. And you'll just keep going. I've almost reached the end of this row, so I'll just keep going here. Making sure, whoops, just as I start to say that, making sure you're only going through 2 loops. And then grab the yarn and go through that final 2 loops. And that is row 2. For row 3 and the remainder of your rows for this particular stitch, you're going to, you'll notice that you end up with these bars, these vertical bars from where you pulled your loops through. You're going to skip this first one and insert your hook right through that stitch. So you're just going to go under the bar that's closest to you, grab your yarn and bring up your loop. And then you'll continue to do that all the way across. So move to this next vertical bar and just go under that, the one that's closest to you, grab your yarn and bring up your loop. So under the next vertical bar, grab the yarn and bring up your loop, keeping all of your loops on your hook as you go. So go under that vertical bar and bring up your loop. And you'll just keep going all the way until you get to the next to last stitch. And here I've come to the end of my row. I've got one more stitch to do here, and to make this edge stay nice and smooth so that way it matches this side, we're going to actually go through or under both of those loops that were part of the stitch. So this is the bar that's closest to you and this is the one in the back. So we're going to go under both of those loops like that and bring up our final loop, and that will keep this edge nice and straight so it matches the other side. And that is the end of row 3. So that is what you'll continue to repeat rows 2 and 3 until you've reached the size of your work that you're looking for. Once you've reached the number of rows that you were going for, I've only done a few because I'm almost out of this ball of yarn. But you can see how, yes, it's trying to curl. Once you block that out, once you block it, it'll smooth out. You'll notice that one side, the side that's facing you, has these vertical bars going all the way through, so you end up with kind of a grid pattern. And then if you turn it over on this side, you get this bumpy texture. It'd be nice and cozy for a scarf. And then by going through both loops at the end, it gives you this nice straight clean edge so it matches this side. And then to finish your work, you're going to slip stitch all the way across. So you'll skip that first bar, oops, and insert your hook, grab your yarn, and then pull through both for your slip stitch. And you'll do that all the way across. So go under the next bar and then do your slip stitch. And this will tidy up this edge. And that way it'll match the rest of the edges. So just slip stitch all the way across. And you'll see how that tidies that up compared to how that looks. So slip stitch all the way across, and then once you reach the end, you will tie off, and your piece will be done. So almost to the end here. And just slip stitch all the way across. Oh, almost out of yarn. I think I might have enough to actually finish. And then when you get to this last one, do just like you did with the other ends of the rows. You're going to go under both of those loops and do your slip stitch. Whew, cut that close. So once you've reached the end of your finishing row, you'll just tie off and then weave in your ends, and that will be your basic Tunisian stitch.